Hey kids, I'm getting ready to go on another trail soon and I'm super stoked about it. Um, so as I'm preparing to go on this next adventure, I am also just kind of looking back and thinking about the things that people have asked me over time, and I wanted to address some of those things. So first up, night hiking. People have asked, do I like it? Um, is it scary? And have I ever seen anything out there? I will say that I do enjoy night hiking. The first time I did it, I was totally scared, and I went with another hiker, buddy Anubis, actually. He suggested it, and I was like, I don't know, like what's the point of it? Blah blah blah. But I think really I was just kind of scared, you know, like, oh, bears at night. It does sound intimidating, right? But I did it. I did it. I went with him that first night, and once I relaxed into it and just he stayed with me the whole night. We walked together, we were just chatting, telling stories. And once I settled into it and really thought about how different it was, like I really started to enjoy it. And then after that, I would night hike with other people, on and off, and eventually I worked up to where I would just night hike by myself. And at that point, I would usually call my mom. I mean, that was on the Appalachian Trail, so I had service most of the time. And if I was going to night hike alone, I would just call Betty Ruth. I'd put her in my pocket, and I would just let her talk to me about whatever it is she wanted to tell me, And I just assumed that all bears are afraid of Betty Ruth, Yeah, I mean, I have definitely I've had a few scary instances when I've been out night hiking. But I mean, I've had scary instances in the daytime too. I don't think I've probably had more at night than I've had in the daytime, so that's good, right? What are those instances? Pun and I, when we were hiking on the PCT, Northern California, we went down to get water from some spring, and there was a mountain lion down by the spring. So that was a little bit scary. We got our water, hiked on out of there, and then we ended up just cowboy camping a few miles down trail. And as we're laying there in our quilts, you can hear the mountain lions. They sounded so close. But I mean, we're in our quilts, so we're invincible, right? Anyway, we were fine. Didn't see anything that night. But I mean, other than the eyes that we spotted before we set up camp. What's another one? I thought that I saw a pack of wolves in New Mexico. It was a herd of cows. What else? Yeah, I've had other nights where that happened too, where like I thought, oh no, that's a bear, but it was just a deer. They freeze in your headlamp too, just like headlights. And oh, okay, there was a Florida panther that I had a standoff with on the Florida Trail. Not during the FKT attempt. It was on the little practice hike before I went to the FKT. That was scary. I did all the things. Made myself look big. I yelled. I banged my poles. I got really crazy, and it left. So we're all okay. But for a moment there, it was a little trying. I've seen a mountain lion in the daytime too. I've seen lots of bears in the daytime. So like these are things that it could happen a day or night. That's what I'm saying. I think that it feels a little bit more scary to us when it's dark out. We just don't feel as capable. When you've been through hiking, sun up to sundown every day or whatever, beyond that, before that, whatever your deal is, it becomes sort of a routine. You're doing the single day. So that's one thing about night hiking is that it breaks up the monotony for me. Just getting that little bit of a different flavor of hiking while I'm out there can sort of break up that feeling that I might be getting. So yeah, it changes the routine, but also the forest is so different at night. Sounds are a little bit different. I think that's also because the air is cooler, but there's a whole different shift of animals that are out there in the woods at night. So you hear different birds, different little animals scurrying around. Yeah. So it feels different, it sounds different. Oh, and different like plants that have different like scents at night too. Like some plants bloom at night, whatever. I'm not a botanist, but I do know that. Just like the smells in the forest, the sounds of the forest, the sights, like everything. It's just a whole, it's a different sensory experience. And if you're able to do a full moon hike, that's one of my favorites, especially if you're in an area where there's snow or it's sandy. It's like the trail just glows under your feet, and it's magical.